Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We have to talk about Diddy today. I saw some more secrets spilled, so I was like, okay, let's get into it. Let me tell y'all, I'm surprised I even made this for this video. The weather is insane. My allergies, y'all, I couldn't record yesterday. I woke up and I had a swollen tongue and I literally couldn't talk. I had the craziest lisp. And it's still a little swollen, but it went down. But it was my sister's birthday and I was like, oh my God, I can't even, we was going to eat, which it went down a little bit by that time, but I was able to eat. We went to a Korean barbecue place and it was amazing. Oh my God, I had so much food, even though my tongue was really hurting. It was so delicious. It was worth it. But yeah, I got allergies. I woke up, my nose crazy, sniffing like crazy, y'all. It's a lot going on. It's supposed to be snowing today and tomorrow. I'm just like, we had a blackout last night. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like too much. It's too much going on. But I really wanted to record. I haven't recorded since the 15th. It feels like forever. You know, when you record so much on YouTube, I feel like when you don't record, it's weird. You know what I mean? But we're just gonna jump right back into it, okay? But we do have to talk about this Bad Boy Records secrets. I'm talking about women in and out, drugs. A lot. He got away with a lot of stuff, and we're talking about Diddy. He got away with a lot of stuff, y'all. And the more secrets that come out, is making it worse for him, and I really hope it is. Now, I am mad because I've heard that he. In the case with him and Jay-Z got, like, I think the accuser, like, dropped the charges. I'm like, God dang it. Look, people got to stop being so scared. I know, I can only imagine how scared they are, but, or they probably got paid off. Who knows? Because there's a lot of stuff they said he been doing while this been going on. But I want that man put away. Seriously, y'all might not think that Jay-Z's in it. He's a big part of all this. And I'm mad because I'm like, then it's like the only thing they know that they had on him right now until a lot more stuff come out. But we're just going to jump right into it.
Diddy Combs is facing new allegations of coercion, intimidation, and all-around bad behavior in a new podcast from the BBC.
That's nothing new.
We're taking a deep dive with one of the journalists to address these latest reports. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
They are staying on it with all this Diddy stuff. Like, once when the sun must come out, it's a new video.
I have so much money now that I could hire someone to kill you and nobody would know. No one would miss you. No one would know anything. Those are the words that Sean Diddy Combs allegedly said to a colleague back in the 90s, leaving those working very closely with him pretty shaken. So the BBC spoke with more than 20 people about the allegations that have been leveled against the disgraced music mogul. That includes Daniel Evans, who we're going to be talking about, a former senior executive at Bad Boy Records. The BBC World Service has a new podcast that is called Diddy on Trial that explores Combs' current legal predicaments as well as how we got here. And of course, right now, Sean Combs, currently in the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC out in Brooklyn, New York, locked up without bail as he awaits a federal trial currently scheduled for May. Prosecutors have charged Combs pursuant to a grand jury indictment with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. And some of the allegations made against Combs by former staff and colleagues to the BBC, they actually coincide with what the government has been saying or alleging that Combs has been up to for years, for decades.
Also, y'all, he got away with a lot of stuff because of his name and his status in the industry. And, like, he's a billionaire, right? During the parties, you know, he had government officials. That's why he got away with a lot of stuff. The fact that he know Prince Harry, it's like, he got away with a lot of stuff. What's it called? The Reverend, you know, the one that be talking for everybody. Like, they all was there, not like, I'm not talking about the regular parties, but they all know each other. That's the thing. And when you got all that combined, you can get away with a lot of stuff. It's like, it's crazy. It's actually crazy. But this man, Diddy, we all know, well, it's only 3 counts they got on it right now just because they're building the case and talking to people. And the fact that there's so many people is insane. But I feel like soon it'll be sexual, well, it should already be sexual assault, but rape, torture, it should be a lot of stuff, more stuff they have. Abuse, like, there's a lot that need to be added, and they have the stuff with the Cassie stuff, so I'm surprised why that's not on there right now. I'm like, and sorry if I'm talking weird. I know I talk weird all the time, but seriously, my tongue, I'm trying to be careful. It's still a little bit swollen at the end. But yeah, he should have more cases by now, but I know the case is not until May, so they have a lot of evidence to comb through. Diddy Combs. I was not planning on saying this. Sorry, y'all. The comb through, anyways.
Filed superseding indictment actually extended the period the prosecution was looking at for criminal conduct from 2008 now to 2004. Now, something to note. Combs has always denied that he ever committed any sort of sex crime. He is reportedly ready to fight to clear his name. In response to the BBC's reporting, his legal team wrote, "As we've said before, Mr. Combs cannot dignify every publicity stunt or facially absurd claim with a response. He has full confidence in the judicial process where the truth will prevail. These accusations are pure fiction." So what are some...
How can they live with themselves? Seriously. You know, they know he did it. They know he did this. You have a gut feeling every time. It's just that they're getting paid. Look at this. Or if this is his team that he's always worked with, maybe they've been to the Diddy parties. I would not be surprised, seriously. But the arrogance that this man has to even try to say that he and of course he's not going to tell the truth. He's a sex crazed, sex pervert, sex addicted, sex obsessed, grotesque animal. That's a good way to put it. It's a disgusting man. And I think it's also a psychological thing. Maybe he don't know what he's doing. You know, we could put that on it too, y'all. Like, there's like some psychological issues. He grew up in the streets. I'm guessing no parents or whatever. I forgot. I did that whole video. It's like, maybe he don't see the error of his ways. Maybe he don't see what he's doing is wrong. But you're a grown man. If you don't see it by now, you are the problem. So yeah, and we know he's the problem, by the way. We know he's the problem. But yeah, he's definitely a sex pervert. 100%. 120,000%.
She's been on the show before talking about, I think the last time was the sex trafficking allegations involving the Abercrombie & Fitch, or former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO. But now we have her again involving the Abercrombie & Fitch, or former was the sex trafficking allegations involving the Abercrombie & Fitch, or
why is it always the
former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO? But now we have...
Why is it always the old men? You know, and they be like... And I'm talking about the Abercrombie dude. I never heard of the Abercrombie dude. I never heard of that. I can't even say the name. God, he look weird. Ew. Why is it always those people that's attacking people? And it's only because of money. God. Y'all better stop accepting stuff because of money, man. Because I'm saying that because some people really do. Like, they'll try to do that to keep a job. Forget that job. Don't lose your dignity.
Ever again, reporter for the BBC,
nasty,
who has been part of this Diddy on Trial podcast, has been following the saga extensively. Rihanna, it's so good to see you again. Thanks for coming back here on Sidebar.
Thanks for having me back on.
So talk to us about how you got involved in the podcast and what you have been learning through your investigation.
In particular, trying to find out more about the makings of P. Diddy, or Puff Daddy, as he was known back then, and trying to find out from people who used to work with him and people in his inner circle, you know, were there potentially early warning signs about some of the allegations that we're seeing now? And as I mentioned, some of these allegations of drugging and assault do go right back to the start of his career in the 1990s.
And my understanding is, so if you go where he launched Bad Boy, he was, rising star. There's a name that's come up, Daniel Evans. Who is he and what is his connection to this?
Right, so Daniel Evans is one of the original employees of Bad Boy Records. Bad Boy Records being Sean Combs' Grammy Award-winning music label that he started in 1993. It had top artists like the Notorious B.I.G. and Craig Mack. And Daniel Evans at the time was in a finance role with the company, so he managed Bad Boy's recording budgets. He was one of 20 people who I spoke with who knew about Sean Combs back then. And he told me some really...
And even in that picture, isn't that the mayor? Is that the mayor of New York? That's a mayor right there in the corner. Once again, there's like the people he know. It's
striking things. He told me that there was a bit of a hookup culture at the company where it wasn't uncommon for some staff to be having relationships with junior interns. He also told me that corporate funds were used to fly in women across the United States to have sex at the recording studio at the request of artists and other employees. And he actually said that this money was not only coming from the company, but it was being recorded under travel. So that's how common it was. And he was sort of like it was almost like it was almost as easy as if you were ordering food to the studio. That's how routine some of those requests had become. But he also talked about some of his own incidents, some of his own experiences. He told me about an incident back in about 1995 when he first started at the company. It was in his very first week in the job. He told me about walking in on his boss, Sean Combs, in the recording studio, having sex with a young woman who he described as being quiet, not really talkative. He said he opened the door, he thought the room was empty in this recording studio. He says that Sean Combs basically swore at him, told him to get out. But he was really struck looking back that the woman herself didn't respond or react in any way. And he says, knowing what he knows now about some of the allegations that have come to light, that incident has really played on his mind. Why didn't that woman react? Why wasn't she that talkative? Could she have been high on drugs? Was she just shy? He had a lot of questions around that. So those are three of the big things that he told us about. Corporate funds being used to fly in women for sex.
I'm talking about using women like it ain't nothing. Treating women like they ain't nothing but like sex objects is actually crazy. That and all that's be like escorts and people people he know. It's like, if that's all true, and most likely I'm pretty sure she was drugged out. That's what he did. And the fact that this goes all the way back to like when he started the company is actually insane. Flying women in for everybody's pleasures. Ew. God, this is a sick dude. I'm talking about everybody. There should be a long list of people on trial as well. Like, everybody that's been in this company should be on trial. Everybody that has been near him should be on trial. There's a lot more people that should be on trial. His security guard who be watch out, and the ones who bring the women, they should all be on trial. But yeah, just treating women like they're nothing is crazy. But yeah, this is a major rapist. Major rapist. And yeah, you can probably say it's not rape if you pay for him. It should be. It should be. It should be. And I'm talking about the way we know how he run, y'all. Also, don't get it twisted. There's a lot of stories of him. I already said the R word, raping people, and the other gender, because we know at this point he's bisexual. The dude is, he probably wouldn't even care to admit it, but we all know. We all know.
It's an incident that he witnessed in the recording studio, as well as there being a broader hookup culture at the company, which a lot of staff told us about at the time.
I mean, it's very consistent with the criminal allegations that he's facing, essentially using his business empire and money to facilitate a criminal enterprise and a sex trafficking enterprise. So very consistent. Does he believe all of the allegations against Sean Combs?
I think Daniel Evans, like many of the people that I've spoken with, especially those who knew Diddy back in the 90s, do find it really hard to reconcile what they've been hearing with the man that they knew. To put it into context, Diddy was only 23 when he started Bad Boy Records. This was a young label run by 20-somethings who, in their own words, everyone there wanted to have fun, party, hook up, and build good memories. So they've been finding it really hard to see how this 19, 20, 23-year-old they knew at the start of the company, this kind of bold, brash go-getter who was this upcoming rising star in the music industry, is now being hit with so many of these allegations. And Daniel in particular said to me that, he didn't want to believe this, but it wasn't until he saw that video of Cassie Ventura, Sean Combs' ex-partner of 10 years, who used to be at the label, that video on CNN of Sean Combs beating her at a hotel in LA, that he really sat there and thought, wow, has anything changed? And it reminded him, that incident with Cassie, of something that Daniel told me that he witnessed back in 1997, so, a decade before. There was an incident where he said that Sean Combs had received his biggest paycheck to date. It was $6 million, and they were all in the Bad Boy offices in New York City, having a meeting with colleagues, and Sean Combs got really, really annoyed. And he turned to one staff member and basically said, I have so much money now that I could hire someone to kill you and nobody would even know. Nobody would even ask questions. So they were all looking back saying there were some warning signs back in the 90s of how
Yeah, thank
money
you.
and power was getting to his head.
Rihanna, I also understand before I have to let you go.
The whole thing with the Cassie thing, I'm like, they should have got him right there. It was on camera. But yeah, a threat like that, there's obviously, there's warning signs all over. Look at the stuff he do. Come on, and he was younger?
You spoke with a Jimmy Maines. Who's Jimmy Maines?
So Jimmy Maines is somebody who worked at Uptown Records with Sean Combs back in the early 90s. So before Sean Combs started Bad Boy Records, he got his start at Uptown, which was another hip-hop label at the time. And he was 19 when he got that job, and he rose to this really senior role as talent director. So that's where he got his start. And Jimmy was basically describing to me how Sean Combs had a bit of a temper. You know, he used the language that Sean Combs acted like a bratty kid in the office. You know, if he didn't get his way, he would bang his hands on the table. You know, he would start yelling like this kind of immature, naive 19-year-old. And, you know, Jimmy was thinking about some of those incidents. And, you know, at the end of our interview, when I spoke with him, he sort of said to me something that many people have been saying. You know, they've been questioning, did I know the real Sean Combs, a man who has constantly reinvented himself over the decades? And he said something really poignant. He said to me, you know what, Rihanna, people could think that Sean Combs is a monster. That's not the guy that I remember. And then he kind of paused and said that maybe money gives you the freedom to be who you really are, and maybe he was that guy all along. So that's a question a lot of people who know Sean Combs have been grappling with. Do I know him? Did I know him?
Also, think about it. You got him paying people a lot of money. The fact that they said that dude that she's talking about was in the senior role, even like in his first position, like he got raised up there, and that's just so he can keep people quiet to do all this stuff. You have to. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general, these people in business, these high officials, billionaires, millionaires who own these companies, who do this type of stuff, human trafficking, assault, abuse, attack on people. To get away with it, you have to pay people to shut up. That's literally what it is, and it's illegal. Mind you, that's illegal. That's all he did. He paid people to shut up. And the fact that he got away with it this long is actually insane. And I'm amazed. I'm not even amazed that people waited, because look at this stuff. He's threatening people. He can pay somebody to kill you. I'm pretty sure he can. You got hitmen everywhere that do stuff for like $10,000. And that's crazy.
You know, what does all of this mean now in light of what we've been hearing and all of these allegations?
Yeah, it's a very fair question.
Sorry.
Rihanna, before I let you go, real quick, do you know if anybody you spoke to is going to be cooperating in the actual criminal case against Sean Combs? Have they given any indication about that? Talking about how the studio became a party spot and how women would be flown in on Bad Boy's dime. When you think about that, these random women coming in, essentially he controlled the budgets. He told the BBC it was probably like thousands of dollars. I don't think it happened all that often, but it was definitely a recording expense. So Evans worked on things like the budgets, says Combs' own request to have certain women meet him somewhere was managed by his personal assistant.
Like and
one of those assistants told the BBC that Combs would ask them to fly in women that he was, quote, messing around with to put them up in hotels, but the assistant said they weren't sex workers. And that's important for the federal case, because the big part of the federal case is commercial sex work, commercial sex workers, transporting people across state lines. Now, on top of the criminal case, Combs is facing dozens of civil lawsuits in both federal and state court. He and his attorneys are likely very, very, very busy. The claims of rape and abuse in those lawsuits, they come from men, they come from women, and they also come from people who say that they were just children when they were attacked. The lawsuits paint Combs as this intimidating man who used his power and influence to force himself on people, which, by the way, mirrors the federal indictment. In fact, just yesterday, here on Sidebar, we talked about a John Doe who says that he was this adult entertainment dancer back in 2007, performed for Combs in Las Vegas. And he says Combs promised him major opportunities in the music business, but really was essentially just treating him as a sex slave. His lawsuit reads, plaintiff was at all relevant times a Las Vegas-based entertainer who aspired to become a musician. Knowing that plaintiff desperately sought a breakthrough in the music industry, Combs enticed plaintiff with fraudulent promises of a career in the music industry. Combs used his false promises of career advancement as weapons, trapping plaintiff in a vortex of exploitation and fear. Combs did not follow through with these promises. Instead, Combs subjected plaintiff to a relentless pattern of drugging, sexual assaults, death threats, clandestine recording, blackmail, and psychological manipulation that far exceeded any bounds of consent or professionalism. And John Doe also calls out Bad Boy for its apparent involvement in enabling this alleged scheme. Quote, Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs' production company, facilitated Combs' calculated abuse and played a significant part in Combs' ruthless scheme to exploit plaintiff. Now, John Doe worked through an agency that used pseudonyms so he wouldn't know his client was Combs until he showed up. This happened on multiple occasions. He also says that he wouldn't have been able to tell in advance that he was going to what is essentially a Diddy party. The complaint reads, on these additional engagements through plaintiff's agencies, Combs offered plaintiff beverages, which plaintiff consumed. Combs also asked plaintiff to apply baby oil to plaintiff's skin during the performances, which plaintiff did. After applying the baby oil, plaintiff became unusually sleepy, disoriented, confused, exhausted, drowsy, weak, sluggish, numb, alarmed by the sensation of being trapped in his own body. Plaintiff felt a heavy sensation behind his eyes and felt that moving his body became more difficult and exhausting. And once Combs learned that John Doe had these lofty music goals, the alleged victim says he would use the promise of fame and money to convince John Doe to fly to wherever Combs was, ostensibly so Combs would listen to his music, but instead he says Combs forced him to perform sex acts under the threat of violence. And later on, according to the lawsuit, John Doe found out that Combs allegedly had secretly made sex tapes and that Combs had allegedly threatened to release them if John Doe didn't do what he wanted. The man claims this went on for years, that he wasn't comfortable coming out with his own story until the flood of lawsuits against Combs started in November of 2023 with the bombshell suit from his ex-girlfriend Cassandra Ventura. But we've heard similar stories from some of the women allegedly assaulted inside Bad Boy's recording studio out in New York in their own civil lawsuits against Combs. They say they've been dealing with trauma for years. They finally felt like they could address it publicly because they weren't alone. In fact, on May 21st of last year, we had model Crystal McKinney, who filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings, Sean John Clothing LLC, Universal Music Entertainment Group. In 1998, she claims when she was just 17 years old, she was flown to MTV's first model mission competition, got a modeling contract. In 2003, she was then invited to attend a men's fashion week event in New York, and she claims after going to dinner with a designer in Combs, Combs invited her to the studio. And her lawsuit says that when she got there, Combs was there with several men drinking, smoking marijuana. And she says that she took one hit of the marijuana, but thinks it was laced with something else. And she claims Combs took her into the bathroom and forced her to perform oral sex on him. And according to her lawsuit, the next thing she remembers, waking up in a taxi. Then we have a woman named April Lampros. She filed her own lawsuit just days later. And she claims she met Combs in 1994 when she was a college student studying fashion and marketing. And she says Combs wanted to impress her, invited her to the studio. Her filing actually includes a photo of Combs, seemingly with his arms around Lampros and another woman. And she claims that Combs assaulted her and that he filmed it, which she says she didn't find out about until years later. Her lawsuit states in or about 2023, Miss Lampros was at a function and a gentleman informed the man that Miss Lampros was dating that he should reconsider dating her because he personally saw a video of her and Sean Combs having sex. According to Miss Lampros, this redacted name, shared that he saw the tape during the summer of 1997. According to Mr. Lampros, she was told that Mr. Combs apparently recorded them having sex without her knowing and showed it to people. Third woman, Talia Graves, sued Combs in September of last year, alleging that when she was 25 years old back in 2001, she was lured to Bad Boy's recording studio, where she believes she was drugged and viciously raped by Combs and his bodyguard, Joseph Sherman.
It goes beyond just physical harm caused by and during the assault.
This is a lot of information. This is definitely a lot of more secrets spilled. This man, I'm talking about the way that somebody can get away with something so long, the way that I really do feel like he's going to get a lot of time. He has to. There's so many victims, similar stories. What is up with the baby oil? What is up with that? Performing with baby oil. Is it just like seeing people glistening? I don't what is that? And that dude was he said an entertainer, isn't it? He's a sex worker. Was that what it is? Or he was a dancer or whatever. But what is that with applying baby oil to people, and that's just some kind of kink he got 100% because it's so weird. He shouldn't even steal with all the bottles that he had. That's still weird. The fact that I'm sorry, there's so much. Everybody say drugging when they put on something. What was in that oil or what was in the drink? Because the man said after he applied the baby oil, he started feeling all those symptoms. I'm like, what is that? That's not normal. And you know, the most shocking thing about everything to me is that the drugging part. You have him drugging people to rape them. That is so sick. That is sadistic. It's like they have to be out for you to hook up with them. Isn't that weird? Oh my God. And it's been going on since like the 90s. That's a sick man. He got away with this a long time. And it's never come to light for like this whole time. Oh, that's a sicko. He's a pervert sicko. Sicko pervert. Ugh. Ew. I don't see it. It's just the money, because what else is it? Like, well, it's the money and the fame. He drive you around, fly you around, whatever. But no, you hear all those things about him. Why would you want to be associated with that? But that's the Hollywood, y'all. It's the fame and the status up in there that people try to stay with. Especially when he's the one with the biggest parties, and of course everybody's gonna go. It's just crazy. Oh my God, the fact that there's people like this bringing in women, escorts, having his bodyguard and other record people hook up with them unconsciously, like they were drugged up and not knowing what's going on, recording them sex tapes and showing them to other people, ruining their reputation. That's absolutely insane. It's a lot of sadistic stuff with this, and yeah, they need to bring a psychologist in here, I think. They need a psychologist, because this is not normal. He's not normal. This is like some psycho level sociopath type of stuff to think like he thought he could get away with it so long. And it's crazy how people been talking about him, but it's just nobody believed it. And just when that video dropped is when people actually started seeing it and people started coming forward. That's crazy. This man is disgusting. And I just wanted to see. But yeah, his record, them all, arrest all of those people. Arrest them all. And this happens so much in the industry. That's what's crazy, y'all. This is not the first time that this happened. Like y'all saw with the Abercrombie thing. I can never say the word Abercrombie. That disgusting looking man. That whole thing. Other big industries that have not been named or noticed yet. Is so much. And it's all money and status, and the fact that somebody can control somebody just because they have money. It's crazy. But yeah, this Diddy is a psychotic sex pervert, sex rapist, sex abuser. He's disgusting. He gets off by drugging people, men and women, recording them, and just doing sick things for his pleasure. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. The fact that some people believe that he's innocent, they're also disgusting. Yeah, if you believe this man is innocent, you need to go drink some holy water. You can't even drink holy water. You're supposed to get baptized, right? Go get baptized. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I was curious. There's a lot going on in this video. Y'all, I can't wait till this trial happen. Oh my God, I cannot wait till this trial happen. So on that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay safe, stay alert, stay aware. Did I say that backwards? Stay safe, stay aware, stay alert. Anyways, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.